All right, here we go. Doing a trade day recap for Friday, September 26th on the NASDAQ. Gosh, weird day, weird week, weird month. So let's dive in. Obviously, you can see my P&L. Where is that? Up in here. Two accounts break even. I guess let's start off with kind of what my thinking was for the day, just my bias. I saw Thursday came down in here into internal range of liquidity, saw a nice response. So I was kind of anticipating a couple of things. We have a large expansion candle here on Thursday. So this large range meant I wasn't expecting tons of expansion from today, which not that the market's closed, but we've seen an inside candle today. I was expecting this to be maybe the potential for the beginning of bullish delivery, continuing the overall higher time frame trend of bullish delivery, external range to internal range. So I've been off sides all week, just having trouble as, the market's been so bullish, having trouble adjusting and trusting that the market was flipping bearish and trusting shorts. And then finally, about the time in which I realized I've been off sides all week, it came to an internal level where I felt, man, it could actually reverse from here. There was this rejection block on this candle from the 17th, and then this fair value gap, and that to me was a nice signal for maybe Thursday had bottomed. So kind of gave me a little more of a bullish bias heading into today. Now, the whole picture here was a little dicey looking. So we had the possible, what we see here is the pink is Asia session, purple is London session. When we get London taking Asia's high and Asia's low, that's the possibility for a seek and destroy day. It's Friday. We had the previous day expansion. I got all that listed right here. And we were at previous week's equilibrium, previous day equilibrium, previous week equilibrium. So all these things kind of had me on guard for today. Just, not super, I keep saying this, but there's a few reasons why going in super light with risk. I did have arguments that I was just suggesting for the bullish delivery, but I also had arguments for bearish delivery today because we were above the blue line when market opened, trading up, and I was possible to short down to midnight open. We also had no bullish SMT, but we had bearish SMT. And the 4-hour, if we look at that, was coming up into internal range liquidity to continue this downside trend. So that's where I could see it both ways. I could see this being the bottom, and it breaking through here and then flipping this into a breaker and continuing up. But also with this 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. 4-hour candles, I could see this potentially as another reversal zone where we continue further. So interesting kind of day. Nonetheless, I leaned a little bit more bullish. We had London was trending upwards bullishly, so that kind of gave me a bias a little bit for 9:30, which I took along here at 9:30. Maybe it'll be easier to show the other this right here. So I was anticipating a drop down into sell side for some bullish delivery at 9:30. I did get that. So 9:30 macro followed the prediction. I went in long on my primary funded account that I'm trading, and I wasn't liking what I was seeing here with all of these candles. So I went break even on it. I just said I'd rather, too many things tell me this isn't a high probability day. So I went break even on that trade. Then shortly thereafter, I saw what we had as a breaker on top of a breaker. So here is here's one bullish breaker right here. There formed a 5-minute breaker on the 5-minute chart, giving additional confirmation. And then here we had a breaker on top of a breaker. So I felt it might be worth another shot. I went in on a second account. One of the things I sometimes do is I like to distribute the risk if I'm not feeling stoked about things between accounts. It makes me feel a little better. And in this one, I wasn't, again, I started feeling like I wasn't confident it was going to go do anything. So somewhere up in here, I just went break even on it and said, you know what? It's not worth it to me. I'm not as confident in this one as I thought. So that was my 2 trade limit for the day. And I also, like I said earlier, did see it a little bit bearishly. So when this model setup hit, my setup formed right here in reverse as well, an inversion breaker for value gap, all that good stuff. So this turned into a bearish breaker. Right, like that. And once I saw that, I went in on demo because I could very well justify the short just as well. And obviously the demo trade hit, which does two things. It's like a bummer that I was off sides for these longs, just because I've been off sides all week. And but at the same time, nice that you get in a win. You know, it does build confidence to see that happen. I try not to treat my demo accounts like throwaway accounts. I try to treat them as I would a funded account, because I feel like on a subconscious level, our demo accounts can affect our psyche in really subtle ways. Like I walked away from today, and I walked away because I felt a little disappointed. I'm like, well, most of the time you'd be like, well, I'm break even on the day for my funded accounts, and I took a demo win, so that's a good day. And I actually walked away not feeling great, and because there were some deeper things impacting my psychology. And I might unpack that later in another video when I do maybe more of like a weekly review. I just wanted to document my trades today and go over my bias and kind of detail this out from my record. So anyways, I mean, that's not a bad way to end today, you know, taking two trades, you know, keeping that keeps it nice and light. I'm not over trading, break even on the day. That's not bad. But I think there's more that I feel about today that kind of caused me to have some reflections. And I might look at that if I evaluate the entire week. Maybe I'll do that here in a video a little bit later. But yeah, I think that's it for this recap.